Alrighty, hello everybody. My presentation today is going to be on Mexican wedding traditions. Just a little disclaimer, not all Mexican weddings are going to be the same. In fact, a lot of Mexican weddings now are incorporating American wedding traditions as well, so they're going to be changing just as much as American new traditions are being added. But this is just some of the basic ones. I have been to one Mexican wedding. It was a couple years ago though, so bear with me. Also, I will be trying to pronounce the titles of some things, so please bear with me. So for this first slide, we're going to be talking about the padrinos y madrinos. This is the godparents of the couple. So the godparents give financial help as like other weddings around the world. Mexican weddings are extremely expensive, often because of the fact that they usually have over 200 guests easily. They usually give the wedding couple a gift of a Bible and rosary during the reception sometimes. They also can be mentors before and after the wedding just to help the couple out of the stresses that they have to go through. The couple can also have sponsors that will pay for certain aspects of the wedding. So for one example, one family would pay for the flowers, one for the wedding dress, one or even a couple for the food that has to feed a lot of people. Moving on to the ceremony, keep in mind that a lot of the aspects of the ceremony bring in the Catholic beliefs and traditions of the church. So starting off, you'll see both parents walking down, the bride and the groom down the aisle. Mexican culture honors both parents equally. Walking their child down the aisle symbolizes both parents' consent to the marriage. As you'll see in a lot of American weddings, just the father will walk down the bride. So that's kind of interesting. Next is the lasso. It's a part of all Mexican weddings, so this is a symbolic cord that represents the commitment and love the couples have promised each other. After the vows are said, attendants, or usually the godparents, place the lasso in a figure 8 pattern around the groom's neck and then the bride's to show that they are linked together in marriage for eternity, just showing the commitment of marriage. After the wedding, the bride usually takes the lasso home as a keepsake. Next is the arras gift. It's another symbolic gesture to the bride from the groom. In arras, there are 13 coins that have been blessed by the priest, again, kind of incorporating the Catholic beliefs. So one coin represents Jesus Christ, and the remaining 12 represents his apostles. It's also a declaration of love and a promise from the groom that he will provide for his bride. Her acceptance of the coins is symbolic of her trust and faith in his promise. Next, the La Callejonada. This is a parade that takes place after the wedding ceremony. So this is kind of where the mariachi band comes in. It's just a walking and a dancing celebration that takes the guests from the ceremony to the reception. Kind of gets them in the mood to party as the ceremony is very serious, and then the reception, they kind of, it's more kind of like a party. So the reception, Mexican wedding receptions are some of the best parties you'll ever attend. I agree with this. However, they go on for a very, very long time. There is said to be never-ending dancing, which I agree with that. There's live mariachi music, incredible food and desserts, goes well into the night and even sometimes into the next day. A lot of traditional Mexican wedding food is served, like tacos, tamales, pork carnitas, chile rellenos, enchiladas, multiple types of meat, sauces, salsas. So there's a lot of variety in the food that serves, which is great. Part of the reception is the music. Music is a big part of the whole wedding itself. Many believe that a traditional Mexican wedding is not complete without a mariachi band playing the music. The members of the mariachi band in general play guitars, drums, and trumpets. There are sometimes harps and violins as well. The bands often dress as cowboys, since mariachi music is a style of Mexican ranch music. For the weddings, they may wear black, silver, or white. When performing at weddings, mariachis add a festive air to the reception. It is also customary for the band to play as a part of the wedding procession when the wedding is ending. Special dances. There is a dance known as the sea snake dance, also known as la vibora de la mar. It's a song and a dance where the bride and groom stand on chairs opposite of one another and form an arch, which guests pass through while holding hands and dancing. So the goal is not to break this snake formation, and that gets harder as the music goes faster. So basically, all the female guests will link hands. You can kind of see in the picture, and they run through the arc. And then there's also a line of male guests as well, and they'll run through as well. And I tapped out in the middle of this dance because it went on for so long and it got really intense. And the mariachi band is playing and the music's getting faster. And so, yeah, it's a really fun one. There's also a dance known as the money dance. So the male guests will pay for a dance with the bride, and the female guests will pay for a dance with the groom. And they do this by pinning dollars or just money on their attire. So for the groom, they pin it on his suit coat. And then the bride, they just pin it all over the dress, and they actually get quite a bit of money from this, and it's just a lot of fun. It's also a way to secure some one-on-one time with the newlyweds, which is pretty rare in the large Mexican weddings, and just to extend your best wishes to the happy couple. They also do dances that we see in American culture, like the father and daughter dance, kind of like just some couple dances. So moving on. This is known as the after party. It's a la tornaboda. It's just a smaller get-together held after the reception, sometimes into the next day, and this is just for the family and the close friends of the bride and groom. If they do get together the next day, they'll also use this time together to open gifts. Mexicans do love big parties, but family is at the heart of the Mexican culture. So this is a time where those closest to the couple get to enjoy and celebrate the newlyweds in a more intimate and personal way. Alrighty, so that's the end of my presentation. As I said, not all Mexican weddings will include all of these things, but many are. So again, we have the sponsors and the godparents who really come in and support the bride and groom as well as just their family, helping them pay for all the expenses, which is kind of different in American weddings where just the bride and groom are kind of responsible and the parents are kind of expected to help too. But that's kind of cool how they all come together, I think. And then the reception the ceremony where there's the lasso, the arras gifts, and many other traditions such as mass as well. And then you have the wedding parade and the reception. Music is such a big part of all of that. Dancing goes on endlessly throughout the night. And then you kind of have the after party, which is just a more intimate gathering of the family. But I'm excited to watch your guys' presentations, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.